Hey, what's up guys, it's Keycaps and welcome back to another video. So today, we're going to be checking out something that I've been wanting to have for quite some time now, and now I actually did get my hands on one of these. Meet the king of all keyboards. This is the Corsair Gaming K95 RGB Platinum mechanical gaming keyboard. But before we get started, go ahead and join our official channel Discord server, which I'll have the link down in the description below. From the first glance, the K95 RGB Platinum packs a ton of features into it. It has a nice aircraft-grade anodized brushed aluminum top plate, which looks super sleek, but because of the fine grooves, it's going to be a bit of a pain when you're cleaning it out. We got 6 dedicated macro keys along the left side of the keyboard, which are actually contoured in gray in color, and they have a bit of a textured feeling to them. Though I do feel like they would look better if they were black like the rest of the keycaps on the keyboard. The indicators for caps lock, num lock, and scroll lock are nothing too obnoxious. They're just simply some white LEDs, which gives the keyboard this nice, clean, and simple aesthetic to it. Moving on over to the right, we got some dedicated multimedia keys with a nice and smooth metal volume scroll wheel. Also included on this keyboard is a profile switching button that will allow you to switch between your 3 custom profiles that will be saved onto the keyboard, because the K95 RGB Platinum does feature 8 MB of onboard storage with a 32-bit ARM Cortex processor. Next to that is a brightness adjustment key, which has 3 levels of adjustment. It even has a Windows lock key, which is also capable of disabling other keyboard shortcuts, such as Alt F4, Alt Tab, and all the other good stuff. This keyboard also features full N key rollover as well as 100% anti-ghosting, which basically means how many ever keys I press on this keyboard, all of them will be registered as a keystroke. In terms of durability, this keyboard is nice and sturdy with minimal flex when you're mashing down on the keys extremely hard. However, I'm sure that no one types like that, but it's still nice to see that this keyboard is quite solidly built. Along the front side of the K95 Platinum is also a 19-zone RGB LED strip, which is quite insane and looks pretty fire as well. We also got the RGB illuminated Corsair logo at the top. Next to the nice and thick braided cable is a USB pass-through port, which can be useful for plugging things in, such as a headset or mouse if the cable for it is too short. Now flipping the keyboard over onto its back side, there are 4 large rubber pads to keep the keyboard from sliding around on your desk, as well as 2 feet for elevating the keyboard, which are also rubberized. You also got this sort of cross channel for cable management, so you can somewhat hide those pesky cables that are lying around on your desk. Another thing that's included with the keyboard is a detachable rubber wrist rest. You can choose between either a smoother or more textured feel. And to do that, you simply just take the rubber part out, flip it over, and stick it back into the frame where it will attach magnetically. On the bottom of the wrist rest are 2 little plastic clips that attach onto the keyboard when you put on the wrist rest. And then to remove it, you simply just lift the keyboard up and snap it off like that. Included in the box also comes with 2 sets of gray textured contoured keycaps. 1 WASD set for your FPS games, and 1 QWERDF set for your MOBA games. It even includes a nice little keycap puller, so you can pop off any keycap with ease. Alright, now that we've covered all the physical features of the K95 Platinum, let's get into some of the more technical stuff. First off is the mechanical key switch that's underneath the keycap. You can choose between either the Cherry MX Brown switches or the Cherry MX Speed switches. Cherry MX mechanical key switches are made with genuine German quality and are known for their insane durability. So if you were to buy any keyboard with these switches, chances are they're going to last you for quite a while. This keyboard can come in a black finish, which is sold globally and is available on both switch options mentioned before. There's also a gunmetal version, but it's only available in North America, and it only comes with the Cherry MX Speed switches. So if you're looking at getting Cherry MX Browns, you can only get the black version. I got my K95 RGB Platinum with the black finish and the Cherry MX Brown switches, which have a 45-gram actuation force, a total key travel of 4 mm, a 2 mm actuation point, and a slight tactile bump that lets you know when you've actuated the key switch. The Cherry MX Speed switches, on the other hand, also have a 45-gram actuation force, but they have a total key travel of 3.4 mm, have a smooth and linear feeling to them, and the actuation point is only at 1.2 millimeters, making them one of the fastest switches on the market, hence why they're called speed switches. And if you don't know what actuation means, it basically means when your computer registers a keystroke from your keyboard. So if you're looking at getting this keyboard and not sure which switch you're going to get, it really kind of depends on what type of stuff you're going to be doing on your computer. If you only use your PC for gaming and do little to no work at all, then get the speed switches because 1, they're extremely responsive while you're out on the battlefield, and 2, they won't fatigue your hands as much during long sessions of gaming. If you're gaming but also doing work on your PC like me, then it's best to get the brown switches because the tactile bump of the switch lets you know when you've actuated the key switch, which is extremely beneficial to typists, and you won't make as many errors while typing because they also aren't as sensitive as the speed switches. From my experience of trying out the speed switches at the local store, even resting your hands on the keycaps could cause accidental key presses. They're just that sensitive. Also, I'm not exactly a huge fan of linear switches, so that's another reason as to why I got my K95 Platinum with the MX Browns instead of the MX Speeds. Both these switches are pretty quiet amongst the mechanical key switches that are out there, but they still aren't going to be as quiet as your crappy membrane keyboard that you use at either work or school. But what's a keyboard video without a sound test? So I'll go ahead and give you guys one of the K95 Platinum with the Cherry MX Brown switches, as well as a comparison of those rubber dome switches. As you can see, these Cherry MX switches also have clear switch housings. And that's because the RGB LED is actually embedded into the printed circuit board, or PCB for short, which is actually this green thing right here, to avoid the risk of static, which can potentially destroy the LED, which is mounted underneath the switch. Notice how this keyboard's LED is mounted onto the switch instead of underneath the switch. And because of the clear switch housings, the LEDs can better permeate light through both the switch and the keycap. Cherry also has a non-RGB version of these switches, which are still the same, except the switch housing is just black instead of clear. The keycaps of this keyboard are made of a high-quality ABS plastic material, which is what most gaming keyboards use for the keycap material as well. ABS is inexpensive to manufacture, so that's why they aren't going to be the best of quality. However, they're still durable enough to be used on a keyboard. My biggest gripe about ABS keycaps is that they're extreme fingerprint magnets. I've been using this keyboard for a bit, and if you look at the shift key right here, you can see that's already picking some of the dirt and oils from my fingers. The keycap font that Corsair uses for their keyboards have sort of this big and bulky style that sort of screams gamer right into your face. I do know that most people don't particularly like it, but it really doesn't bother me that much, and to be completely honest, I actually kind of enjoy it. The stabilizers that the K95 Platinum uses for the larger keys are called Cherry style stabilizers. For swapping out keycaps, these kinds of stabilizers are really nice because of how easy it is to take a keycap off. But the downside is that they can feel mushy when you bottom out the switch, and they sound extremely rattly as well. And the rattling sound is especially noticeable on the spacebar. Here's a quick listen. Speaking of the spacebar, it also has a textured feeling like a macro keys, which was a bit awkward to type on at first, but after using it for some time now, it's no longer that bad as I've gotten a bit more used to it. Moving on to the software, the K95 Platinum uses Corsair's iQ. With this software, you can program macros on any of the keys on this keyboard because they're actually all 100% fully programmable. You're also able to change up all the RGB lighting effects of this keyboard, which I'll show you guys all of them right now. The lighting effect that I use consists of 3 effects layered together. I have the rain effect, the visor effect, and underneath those 2 I have the spiral rainbow effect to create this super beautiful and elaborate RGB light show. Now in order to program a macro, you simply click the Actions tab, then the plus icon. Then you want to hit the Record Macro button. Let's say I want to close a window. I will hold Alt and F4, then stop recording. I can assign it to any key on the keyboard, so I'm just going to choose the G3 key. And now I'm going to open up the File Explorer, and then hit the G3 key, and the window will close. You can also reprogram a key to be used for like a text function, or say launch another application, set a timer, so on and so forth. The Corsair iQ software, however, isn't exactly the most user-friendly. Also with the fact that this is my first ever Corsair product, it took me a bit of time to figure out how the software actually even works. But upon discovering how it functions, the rest of it was just a piece of cake. So obviously, this keyboard is going to be a pretty solid option with all the bells and whistles that it has, but the pricing is going to be the main reason that'll make you reconsider buying it. This keyboard comes in at a whopping $199.99. Yes, you heard me. $200 for this keyboard. I got mine on sale on Newegg for $159.99 and also received a free code for Tom Clancy's The Division 2, which is normally running about $60. So technically, I only paid $100 for this keyboard, which makes it a lot more worth it. But now let's go over some of the pros and cons. What I really like about the keyboard is the inclusion of the dedicated multimedia keys and that metal volume scroll wheel, because I can now quickly adjust the volume of my headset instead of having to spam my mouse DPI buttons, which I initially programmed them to be for volume control. The dedicated macro keys are also a nice touch because I can basically program a super long string of key presses and activate it with only one key press. The onboard memory, as well as the profile switching button, the brightness button, and the Windows lock key are also some nice features. And even though I don't use them, the included textured keycaps along with the keycap holder and the wrist rest are also welcome additions, and it shows that Corsair actually cares about their customers. Then obviously, we have the RGB lighting, which is by far some of the best I've ever seen before. However, this keyboard does have a few cons to go with the pros. First things first, the keycaps. They're made of the ABS plastic material, which are extreme fingerprint magnets. If you look from the angle here, just look at all that ABS shine, man. At its price point of $200, I would expect some PVD keycaps to come with it. I know that the camera doesn't pick it up too well, but here's a comparison between the keycap that I don't use as often. If you look closely, the W key has a lot more ABS shine than the print screen does. The stabilizers aren't the best either. They're super rattly, and they make the larger keys feel mushy. Which again, for the price point of the keyboard, is kind of disappointing. Though it is nice that a wrist rest is included with the keyboard, I'm not too sure as to why they made it to be double-sided rubber for a more or less textured feeling. I feel like it might have been better if it were made out of a leatherette with memory foam underneath or cooling gel. And again, considering the price, it's kind of weird. So what I actually have done is that I bought myself a HyperX gel-cooled wrist rest, which feels a lot more comfy to me. So another con of this keyboard is the lack of switch options. If you're looking at getting a clicky switch, you're out of luck because this keyboard only comes with the tactile and non-clicky Cherry MX brown switches or the linear and fast Cherry MX speed switches. Overall, I've really enjoyed my experience with the Corsair K95 RGB Platinum. Even though there are a few gripes I have, the bells and whistles and the mere aesthetic of the keyboard itself still make up for it. This will actually be replacing my Razer Black Widow Chroma V2, which I've been using for the past few months. Speaking of which, I also have a keyboard comparison video between the two dropping soon, so you guys definitely don't want to miss out on that either. Anyway, that'll conclude my review of the Corsair K95 RGB Platinum mechanical gaming keyboard. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up to show your support, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and click that notification bell so you won't miss out on any of my future videos. Also, if you're interested in joining our official channel Discord server, you can go ahead and do that by clicking the link down in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.